Hello! You're listening to Baha. We made the last video was called The Division, Toxicity. Whoosh, that's a big word to say on this time of day. So I was lack of sleep last time. I was very depressed in my last video. I did swear quite a lot, so I'll try not to swear as much this time. If you're disappointed by this, do not worry. YouTube has reminded me I can't swear that much. So anyway, let's go into the actual debate itself. My debate was that PvP needs to have some normalization. What about the normalization? What it basically means is that my theory is that PvP, the Dark Zone, only the Dark Zone, no PvE people can debate this to me. I am aware that your precious skills need to stay the same. We can't have the PvP defining the whole game. That is pointless, it's broken, it will never work. We'll never get there. You can bust your heads against a wall all you fucking feel like it, but according to the patch notes we decided, let's just half health here and do bits and bobs there. I mean, it's like right, okay, we get it. Right, we get it. Your skills are a bit OP. Meta build was Tactician and the PTS. Love the PTS, it's going to be awesome. The guys on PC, shout out to you guys are doing an awesome job, most of you. So basically, I like the whole discussion of OP stuff. I like the whole broken thing because I'd rather broken in a PTS than hitting our live stream. Okay, and generally what I wanted to do was remove upgrade skills. Remove the upgrade skills from being selectable, even being usable, right? It is part of the lore. It's a Dark Zone. It's limited hub facilities. I finally got that fucking right. I checked it. I did check it. So basically, when we went about this whole Dark Zone, the Division tech is charging everything. It's keeping like a battery pack type thing. So it's like a mobile thing, like on your back. It's like a big battery, right? When you go into Dark Zone, obviously there is some sort of like, well, it's Dark Zone. I mean, it's like it's horrible. Even tells you the hub every time you walk in. Oh, you're unlimited, blah blah blah. But nothing ever happens. Like you can still use the same skills you can use outside. So I thought that ridiculous. So what I wanted to do was basically make a video of showing you and showcasing what life would be like without any of the nonsense, without any of the skills. Okay, so that's like flame turrets away, shock turrets away, seeker mines, cluster fucks away, mobile covers with like 2-man one side and 2-man the other side with smart covers and stacking everything, and they've all got heal boxes and basically just a big mobile cover of doom. And that's what will happen. That's the electronic might will come into play. The PTS is kind of showing it, how it can go wrong, but we're sitting there and the response to this all is to nerf. No! No, we don't have to. Fuck it, we don't have to. Just if you have I love the Shelby Netley. If your child is tantruming and you give them a candy when they're tantruming, they are going to always tantrum because they think that's acceptable behaviour. Now, if the child can't play with their fucking toys right, you take the fucking toys away. I'm a skill build. I love skills. I think skills are amazing. But to the point that you can abuse them, to the extent that people have been abusing them, it's just ridiculous. So, my theory is, without the nerfs, without being nerfed, we can make the playable area playable. Where skill builds are skill builds, DPS builds are DPS builds, shield builds are shield builds, right? That's like everything kind of covered there. Obviously, most of the skills would need to be tinkered a little bit there, but generally the base is quite good. I like the base. The base is awesome. So you can see I'm looking at the skills here. Even smart cover, that doesn't actually look that bad. 37.25%. That's pretty cool. That's pretty good. I mean, it's not. That's your basic skill. That's your basic skill with a skill build. So you can imagine it'll be dulled down for DPS builds. What this basically means is why I've got this theory in place for the PvP is because we've been coming to get to this point with cover, right? And we've been going around the whole point with cover over and over and over again. right? And cover, as people say, give it stability. We gave it stability, no one bloody uses it. Get to the point where you give it more accuracy, people still don't use it. Give it to the point where it gets damage mitigation, still no one will use it, or people will abuse it. So the thing that I come back to here is that we have two different sort of group mentality here, right? And this is probably an example made by the fact that Massive, I've kind of made this example for us as well, is that this game's a cover-based shooter, right? It's cover-based shooter. When you get to Dark Zone, that cover-based shooter becomes non-existent, right? So that's the problem, right? So we can either suck it up and play the game as the game, or we can change it completely when it comes to PvP. Right, so PvP change would have to be a big, massive spiel off, and it would have to have all its own stuff, blah blah blah. But the other side of things, as series like this, would then actually make it a cover-based shooter. Face tanking would no longer an option because face tanking is only viable because of heals. Okay. So let's talk about build diversity. People are saying to me, "Oh, bah, you can't take away skills. It'll take away build diversity." Well, fuck. Take away diversity. I have a heal. I have just popped a heal. I have overheal. I have overheal because I have a vigorous chest piece, right? If I wanted to, I could put on a bandage chest piece because I'd be trading off either the overheal or I'd be trading off a 10%, right? That's it. That's all we're doing here, right? So if you wanted to run into Dark Zone, you would essentially have to choose between a vigorous chest piece, a barracks chest piece, a reckless chest piece, or maybe a chest piece that was from a different, but the same set you're wearing, right? How is that any different? We don't even use a fraction of the stuff anyway, so what was the point? What would be the difference? You'd still have the same options. It would still be the exact same it is now. We'd all be sitting there going, oh yeah, okay, what am I going to wear? I'm a skill build, I have lots of heal power, so what will I do? I will use a booster shot with a bigger chest piece. You're just taking away the booster shot. That's basically the same thing. Okay? Things like, we're talking about like Fire Crest. I did specify this before, was that obviously I said with the change, what we could possibly do is that we could lock certain skills to certain gear scores or certain gear, right? So Reclaimer would be able to use one of the mods. Fire Crest would be able to use their fire turret, but only with sort of limited effect. Essentially, it wouldn't be as powerful because of we'll say it's an EMP field or something, right? So people can get to like 12k damage. You would actually pop that down to 6k damage at most, because that's all you really need. You don't need any more than that for NPCs, so we're looking at basis on the sort of like how much you would need to kill NPCs. Okay, so as some of you know, the DT is soloable. It's not recommended, but it is soloable because it's all sort of set to like a hard mode 2-man team type thing, so it is quite doable. You don't have to have actually upgraded skills to run around the DZ. Okay. It's really just a player engagement we're trying to limit it, okay? So things like obviously Tactician could use a Seeker Mine, but we wouldn't want to do that. We want to make it a basic one, so the only certain sets would be able to use these. That does sort of pigeonhole people into it, but if you make it fair, where it's not monstrous, like really monstrosity of a like Frankenstein build, and it's really, you've got 5 guys running with flame turrets, yeah, whatever. We're fixing fix things like a chance on resistance, give it flame resistance. I mean, give people more diversity that way, and so you're kind of dulling down the whole Dark Zone. Like if you see like flame turrets would have a limited downtime because of this EMP effect, things like that. So you kind of like, you're wanting to trade it off essentially. It would cause problems, but at the same time, it would still be viable to run around in a team like that. Okay, so there is ways around to make other builds still being able to be used without anything major happening. Okay, so as you can see here, sticky bomb. It's like a sticky bomb. It's the same radius as a sticky bomb. Wow, I had to actually cut the video there and stop and think about my head. I was like, sticky bomb, what the hell is a sticky bomb? Oh my god, I've gone insane. So anyway, so it's the same radius as a sticky bomb. That's a secret mine, right? I would much rather that than some ridiculous spamming of 64 or half of 64, which is 32 secret mines. Four-man team and a Dark Zone can now have 32 secret mines, and they are hellish. They're getting nerfed to the ground because people are sick of them, right? And I don't want that. I like nerfs. I don't particularly unlike nerfs, but I want PvP not to be affected by the nerfs of the PvP. Okay, it's the main priority here. So basically, what we want to do is we're trying to get the skills to an acceptable level where they still be functional versus players, but not make them not versatile against NPCs. So what I thought was, generally speaking, we could probably go with something like this. We could go with a downgrade of skills, take away the upgrade tree, and get on with our lives. Alright. What this would prevent would be face tanking. One of the things we talked about, shotgunners. Shotgunners run at you 30 meters away, so they've got a radius of 10 meters. They come from 30 meters away. You've got an AR, which with one step in or 1 meter in, they're now in your effective range. You shoot them in the head, they don't die, right? Because to get halfway, take loads of damage and just heal it off, right? So even here, this is generally what 900 damage to this player, and it is a turret, and it's actually doing no bad. It could possibly down him, quite easily down him. I do agree with the heal on that one. No, the health of that guy is 520,000 health. That's ridiculous. But at least it's not doing a strange amount of damage to you. It's only doing 1,000 damage a hit, essentially. That by itself is not OP. That'll never be OP. But it will still be effective. Okay. And what we're basically wanting to do here is we're wanting to make the cover-based shooter the way it should be. So instead of being two mines here, on whether we're a cover-based shooter or a PvP shooter, we're a cover-based shooter. So we want to get into the main thinking of it is a cover-based game. We're playing a cover-based game here, guys. You can't just heal off all the damage, rush up to someone, and kill them instantly. Okay? So we're testing at the pulse here. This is the pulse. This is a lovely pulse. I love the pulse. And a sticky bomb. Even then, what's that? 60,000 damage. Not OP. You can still use it. It can still do damage. It might cause bleed occasionally, which is great. Makes it utility. Doesn't make it essential. Doesn't make a killing blow, right? But the whole point is that most of the complaints here are saying that these builds are building these things like. And it one-shots you without any skill. At the same time here, right, let's remind all PvP players that you're playing a cover-based shooter that abandons the rule of a cover-based shooter so that you can stack health, therefore you can run up to a target. I'm sorry, are you fucking shitting me? You don't even take cover. There is no cover taken in PvP anymore. Shut the fuck up when you talk about skills. What is wrong with you? Right, so that's technique by itself, but it's not part of the game. It's not the game's function. You say it like it's a pure, we shouldn't have skills that lock onto people. Well, they should. But they shouldn't have to the extent they have, or we have. I'm just a user. We shouldn't have that massive advantage. I get that. I get you. I understand that. But at the same time, a PvP player should not have that advantage straight out of the bat. If you're battling someone on PvP survival, you are thinking about two things. He doesn't have heals, he has medkits. So while you're in this game, you've got medkits, you've got 5 of them, you've got heals that heal you a massive amount, plus you have a heal that can give you damage resistance. I mean, come on, seriously. Like, I've just taken someone down with a skill build there, shots to the head, right? That itself is how the game should go. That's just how I should down someone. I should be in cover, I should be playing smart cover, they should be out of cover, therefore they're easy target to kill. Strafing is another thing that should be going. I don't see why we have to have that sort of tactical withstand in the same circle and fuck up the server. Okay? That can go. We all know combat rules can go as well. Okay, so basically, what we're trying to suggest here is a best way round. Okay, it makes everyone happy, makes things like PvE players happy. It brings back the game to a point that it's actually meant to be a cover-based shooter. Okay, so main complaint here so far is that we have skills that are too OP. They are just too OP, in the sense that they're too OP for the game itself, right? And if we're into PvP, we have to keep PvP the exact same way as if in PvE, right? So generally speaking, the game itself is it's interesting to say the least. But what we want to do is make it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so you can see in the background here, I'm still playing the game. I have these two skills, like basic skills. I'm still doing okay. I'm pretty sure if my full team was on, I would get them all to do it at the same time, and we could probably easily farm. That's the point. Is that with these basic ass skills, we could still farm the area, right? So it doesn't affect the PvE side of things either. It's not like it's going to be the difference between clutch. You wouldn't even have to affect the mobs themselves. I don't generally think it could affect the mobs, but it would still be a case of we would still be using the same skills together. We'd all be using the same skills. There'd be no one having an advantage here, an unfair advantage. Yes, you would have fire crest. You would have reclaimer sets. Yes, they would have different sort of utility of skill. But again, if this game is meant to be PvP cover, right? You would have to invest into electronics, meaning you'd be a really crap DPS build, so therefore it would have to be a utility. That would have to be a utility build. That's the whole point of it, is a 4-man team would be essentially useless as a high power skill based, because the only offensive skills they have been nerfed to the ground. Hence the reason why it would need to go into cover. Right, so you're saying it like, oh, what Baha, you don't make sense there. It doesn't make sense. My head doesn't compute. It's a cover-based shooter, right? If you want to win a reclaimer set, if you want to win a reclaimer set, you will have to shoot people to kill them, right? That's it. But because you've got so much skill, you would then have no offensive skill to combat it. You would have maybe a wee 20 turret that would shoot a 1,000 a hit. I mean, you would still have to rely on cover. You would still have to rely on your skills to get the job done. It wouldn't affect the PvE side of things. This is the best solution to make everyone happy. It's just not making you happy because you won't want to abandon the idea. It's going to upset you. It's going to upset everyone that watches it. They go like, oh no, we love our skills. Oh shit, but it's a cover-based shooter. Kids aren't playing well with your toys, so it's time to take the toys away from you. It's good for the game. It's good for the mentality of the game, because when you take away these skills that are OP, and the skills aren't meant to make a massive difference, they're not meant to be the needs and end all of PvP engagement. They're meant to be utility. They're meant to give you utility. Look at PvP survival. No one runs about with an overheal. No one, because we physically can't. It's just a waste of time essentially. Healing station, aye, fair enough. We do run a bit with that, but the whole point is that you're too busy concentrating on different bits and bobs. You're concentrating on DPS and toughness, so you're not really thinking about your skill power. I mean, there is skill powers obviously who build towards skill power and the survival, but really it's quite. So once the skills become utility, what does that mean for PvP? Okay, so a lot of people are going to probably complain is that if you make it so that PvP skills are no longer options, then you're taking away build diversity. Right, that is kind of half true, and it's kind of not true. Right, the mentality right now is that you are ganking and you are using whatever's there that you can use to kill. Obviously, there has been videos, I won't really mention anything about it, that have obviously highlighted that and why it's so toxic and why it's hurting the community. It's only part of the problem, I feel, because the whole part of the problem is that you're rewarding these players in the first place. Okay, when you reward people for bad behaviour, it becomes like more and more apparent, they'll just go ahead and do it, right? But the whole thing of utility and the whole part of making meta builds and the whole part of making diversity a thing is that you have that diversity. If you look outside of the PvE area, right? If you look outside the PvP area, you'll see so many players with so many builds. I have 5 builds on me at all times. A shield build that I'll only ever use on PvE, never PvP. Okay? So it's not a utility there, right? But it could be. So you tell me that diversity comes down to only 3 builds: Predator's Mark, Alpha Bridge, Tactician, and the other one which is Firecrest. And now it'll probably be Reclaimer. That is not diversity. There's like 12 different sets. Are you having a laugh? But if we took away the point that a shield build with proper cover based mechanics could potentially stand out of cover with a shield and be in a united front with his friends who are in cover using the right mechanics, using the right diversity, using the right stuff to make a team. So the right team would probably consist of even a sniper build at the back. The right team would consist of a healer build who would sit sort of in the middle. And then you get your DPS build who would sit more sort of towards the front, and then obviously your skill build supporting the DPS player with either indirect or direct inputs. That is skill diversity, right? You can all sit there and talk to me about skill diversity, but skill diversity is not even a thing in the division, right? You're all sitting there going, nerfs that damages oh, fuck off, will you? Really? Fuck off with your diversity. Diversity, you even know what diversity was until I hit you in the face. Using this mechanic, the one we've just talked about for the last fucking half an hour, would bring back normalization, would bring back utility, would bring back everything you need to do this game, right? Because there'd be no one that would be there who would be OP. Everyone would have to spec slightly the same way, yes, but again, it's a cover-based shooter, right? You would have someone who came out of cover, they wouldn't be able to have that whole overheal thing of like, I'm going to overheal, I'm just going to face tank it, I'm going to get to you and kill them. Which brings me to the main point, is that we are rewarding bad behaviour. The bad behaviour is then spilling out to all the forums. It's making everyone grouchy, tired, and just sick of the general shit that goes on in the DZ, right? You can tell me all you like about like, whatever factors you want to put in there. Fuck it, who gives a shit? I mean, there's just only one factor there, and we are rewarding these gankers. You're rewarding people who are going to be bad in and out of the dark zone. That bitterness, that defeat of unfairness brings out the toxicity. This is the whole point of it. So my suggestion is to remove, along with the tree, to remove the rogue mechanic. Okay? What does that mean? How does that play out? Okay. Like I said in the last video, there is a severe difference between PvP survival and PvP Dark Zone. That one main point is if you kill someone, no one gives a shit. No one gives a fuck. No one. No one does. No one cares. There's no fucking DZ police. I mean, there's no Discord for the DZ LPD. Oh, I'm sorry. I love you guys, but there's no group that goes, we go into the PvP survival and we make sure that no one is ganking someone else. Because you can't. You are rewarded the right way. You get the material they have and you kill them. That is the point of it. There is a reward to the game mode itself. It's a upper arc here of if you kill a player, you're going to take their stuff and you're going to have better stuff to maintain. Okay, so look at this. This is combat in PvP survival. It's all about cover taking. It's all about surprise. It's all about doing the right things at the right times, and it's all about making the best of what you've got. Okay. So there's no, this guy here has been taking, he's taking half his damage. He has at max 3 medkits. So if I keep on damaging him, I don't have to take him down. Right now, I can use his 3 medkits to make it lower his health down and make it so that he can be killed easier, essentially. Okay. So once you get to that point, once you know that bit, you can sort of look here. This guy's came out of cover. He's face tanked. He's dead. Doesn't have a heal. Won't heal his way out of it. So what is the point? So this whole combat here, that combat engagement there, was very fair. It was extremely fair. That's what the DZ should be like. This is what the rogue mechanic does to people. It upsets them. But it makes the game stupidly broken because everyone's trying to get an exploit. Yeah, you're taking it at fun, but turn around to change the leaderboard, take out Rogue from the leaderboard and just say every player you kill is that. Add in a revenge mechanic. If you kill, say, 5 players in your server, you become always red. So anyone who sees you can shoot at you, or whatever you see, essentially in the Dark Zone, you could shoot at, right? Means that if you're a sniper build, you could be like, oh, there's a player to come down the road. Let's fucking pop his head off before he comes close. If you don't want to engage, you don't have to engage. You just go the opposite direction. Gankers are removed from the equation so that they can't come around and do other buffs and attack you when an unfair advantage. They can't just be like total ass bags to you and get you from behind. Obviously, if you're going to get killed from behind, that's your own fault. But the whole point of it is that you're removing that whole mechanic. It makes it better for people in a sort of sense. Obviously, there is exploits that I'm aware of that could happen with this. If you're changing leaderboards from not removing rogues altogether, it'll become a useless stat now. That's absolutely fine, but there is still a level of competitiveness that would come with how many kills you've got on other agents. Okay, so that there is a competitive there, but at the same time, we would obviously implement something at the same time, where if you killed an agent 5 times, right, 5 times, it would no longer affect. So if you wanted to boost your way up it, you would have to go through every single one of your friends list and kill them all. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Okay, so there you go. That's it done. But at the same time, so you'd have this level of fairness that would be implied by having the low skills. Okay, you would have a sort of like more sort of fairness of there'd be no more ganking. But if you kill someone 5 times or kill 5 people, you would automatically go red, which would indicate that you're a bad person, right? Which means you're permanently marked as a bad person, right? Until you die or something bad happens to you. People say like, well, you obviously get EXP. Well, as you know, the new patch, the EXP doesn't drop for you when you get killed by an agent. So what's the point in having something like levels? What's the point in having levels? What's the point in having these levels to indicate how good or bad you are at ganking? And that's what we're talking about. This is the kind of grander scheme of things, is that you remove these possibilities, and that obviously opens a door for people to actually be fairly nice to each other. I mean, regardless of anything that happens there. I mean, look at this guy. This guy's come up. I've seen them coming. We've seen them coming. We know they're coming. We've decided they've engaged on us. We are going to have a good time. They're coming after us. He's killed one of my pals. He's then looted him. He's gone now. That guy's gone. I'm all alone. So all alone in a dark zone with myself. 2 players are on my back. I'm on a two-man server here. What am I going to do? This is still a PvP environment, but it's also a PvE environment. And PvE is player versus environment. We remove the rogue. We will remove things like the ganking and running away. There's no ganking anymore, right? So this is, if you do this whole thing here, right, it's going to be a case of if you're in a dark zone, you see a player, you can kill them, right? But the only part is, obviously, like I said, there are 5 kills, is that naturally speaking, you get to the point where it's a bit like the PvP survival, essentially, is if you kill someone, you will go instantly red. This is not actually to be like a mark like a rogue or any XP. It would just say that this person is an ass bag. So it will be warning you that person is there. So if we remove this rogue mechanic, what actually happens is that no one kills you and runs away. They'll be like, let's kill you and walk around the corner and continue on what we're doing. If you choose to go back after them and kick them behind, who gives a shit? The whole point of it is that we're trying to neutralise this whole toxicity, and this is the one thing that's contributing to it the most. Therefore, if we want to remove it and make our game great again, we have to obviously make sacrifices. We don't want to make sacrifices with nerfs. We don't want to kill build diversity. We don't want to make life so much harder for us. We want to make it enjoyable again. And the whole time I've been talking here is the one underlying factor is this is a cover-based game. Okay, it's a cover-based game because things like this game mode is hard because you don't have as much health, you don't have the healing power to out-heal everything. The whole point of it is that it's meant to be a case of you have a game that you go into it, you cover-based shooter, you go to cover to actually shoot things, and when it comes to players, you're the exact same way. Take away the ability to face tank, then you can't tell me face tanking is a thing when heal skills aren't really a thing for you. You find skills like Seeker Mines, OP, blah blah. It's the same difference is that we have to choose either one of two things. We have to either choose whether we want to make this a PvP COD or a PvP of a cover-based shooter. I mean, we're all here. Like everyone has like thousands of hours of gameplay, blah blah. We've all done bits and bobs, and the game itself. So let's get it back to a point where we all agree this is a cover-based shooter, right? I'm gonna say it over and over and again. It is a cover-based shooter. The PvP should be a cover-based shooter. This is not fucking Call of Duty, but we need to decide if we want it to be like Call of Duty. That's the thing. We need to decide if that's what it wants to be. That's what it wants to be. None of this half-arse shit. I don't want any more nerfs on different skills. I don't want things to be changed for PvE players. I want to get to a point where we accept the fact this is a cover-based shooter, and that comes with a price. No more face tanking. No more OP skills. Just good old-fashioned taking cover and shooting the target. And that's me. Remember, dislike me if you like. I don't care. So you go ahead and to take a look at the video, you have a big think about it, and you come back and you comment. I love your comments. You're always so nice, and you guys have a lovely day, regardless of what you're doing. If you're ganking or not, who gives a shit? Have a good one, guys.